Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Let me go ahead and grab my slides and we can get started. I am ready to go. Hmm. If I can just stop eating these cashews, good Lord. I didn't know I like cashews so much. So, I got to put these cashews away. Mm-mm-mm. Nothing should be that good. Nothing should be that good. You can hurt yourself like that. You know what I mean? Let's see who was here first. Carlene Beckford, thank you so much for being here first. And Connie Baumer. Hey, Connie Baumer. And hello to Lily Lamore. Let me see here. Who else is here? Catherine Schumacher. Yeah, Schumacher. And Rosalie Lindsay. Yeah, Rosalie Lindsay. Patty Askew. Bunny Rose. Did I say that already? No, I didn't. Anyway, let me get on with it because some of you all got to go and catch the halftime show. And I got to try to figure out how to stop eating these cashews. Hmm. Oh, well. Big Mama. Hey, Big Mama. Susie Q. You would think I had more teeth the way I keep eating these cashews, but what few teeth I have left, I just keep bringing them together so I can eat these cashews. Love cashews. So when I put some on my wish list, and some nice squatty got them for me, you imagine me opening up the box and there was those cashews? Dill picker, dill pickle, dill pickle flavored cashews. Mmm, love those. Okay. I also like the those honey ones. Yeah, I love the honey cashews too. So anyway, Duke of Sussex NFL connection. Uh, Harry and Meghan news as per usual, and of course, the British tabloid media's new strategy is sick. You guys, it's sick, sick, sick. I'm just sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick. I'm sick of it. Harry B.S. speaks royally. Deborah Robinson. Hmm. I don't think we're gonna get that many people today, huh? That's okay. I love a nice intimate crowd as much as I love cashews that I'm gonna pretend are not sitting right there next to me. Yeah, those are not cashews. Those are delicious cashews. But I'm not gonna eat them because I got work to do. Don't forget, you guys, it's Black History Month, although you wouldn't know it because I haven't been saying as much about it as I wanted to because it's been so much other news. But I promise you, we are going to make up for that, or my name isn't Connie Balmer. Daniel Medical, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you, as always, for watching Royal Sussex and being a member of Royal Sussex. Wow, that sounded butch. I love that. Royal Sussex. I should ask me out, shouldn't I? Hey, you, would you want to go out? Sure. All right, so um hey, what's in those cashews? Anyway, so what was I saying? Hey, Sam. And who else is here? Marjorie Austin, hello to you. Myra V. Hello, Susie Q. Oh no, your team is losing. I'm sorry. Okay, again, it's Black History Month, and one more time, it's Black History Month. So there it is, Old Glory stretched out across the field. You have the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. and there is a stadium filled with tens of thousands of fans ready to see some football. You know, these guys are actually involved in something that I would declare to be a modern day gladiator game. As a matter of fact, they say that tackles are more like a controlled car crash, a car wreck. So it is very tough on the body, but I tell you, it is good entertainment, isn't it? It is some good entertainment. Um, okay, so continuing, let's get to La Connexion with our Prince Harry. Well, it turns out that Harry is a huge fan of rugby, which in some ways look a lot like football. Although, as he explained in his very whimsical speech or presentation, that there are some differences like moving the ball forward, moving it backwards, all that kind of stuff. So that was fun. But Harry himself is a soldier more than he is a jock, but he is quite athletic, as we may have noticed when he was on the what's his name show. David, what's his name? James Corden, when he was on James Corden's late show, and he went through that obstacle course. So he's part soldier, part athlete, an all around good guy, a dad, a husband, a son in law, all those things. So that's why people love him so much. Hey, you Libby. And right here, the connection started some time ago. Walking with the Wounded. Support the walk. Welcome, football fans. Our notifications are crazy tonight. There's a lot of conversation about how Prince Harry and Usi Umin Rory and Dan Marino came together to help us support veterans. It really is true. Now, of course, this happened some years ago, but the the connection to the football game is a strong one, as evident by the fact that Harry did go to the Super Bowl back in 2022 with his cousin Eugenie. Of course, Meghan had to stay at home with the little ones, but yeah. So there you have it. And right here, you can even see Harry bravely hurling the football. But what I didn't know about this photo is the person that was on the receiving end of the ball. Hi, Lady Windrush. The person on the receiving end was none other than famous football player, coach, whatever, Dan Marino. And Dan Marino, of course, I mean, God, I grew up with that name when it comes to sport. Dan Marino. Who doesn't know who Dan Marino is? Well, probably a lot of people. But if you've ever followed football or even watched the evening news and then you get to sports, you're going to hear the name Dan Marino. Well, back in the day, you would have heard the name Dan Marino. So, very familiar name. But yeah, so he and Harry were just out there throwing some ball together, which was very cool. I tell you, the people that Harry meet, you just never, ever know. So let me play a little soundbite for you. Wait, let me play a little soundbite for you. And I'm not saying this just so that I can grab a few more of those cashews because I don't have that many teeth and it's embarrassing to watch me try to eat them. But I do have a soundbite for you. Okay. Soundbite, soundbite. Uh, Terry H., thank you for being here. Okay. Oh, okay. Cray, huh, you Levy? Yeah, that's the politically correct word that I like to use. That's the one I like to use. Cray.
You know, it was great being with Prince Harry and the Wounded Warriors and walking and
Uh-oh, I'm so sorry. Did this thing start buffering? It did that earlier. Let me try it again. This one was not a great connection. It actually started buffering. I think it just may be a lot of people streaming tonight. Oh, Lord. Please tell me this is going to work. Please tell me this is going to work, because I really want to eat one of those cashews. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me try it again. If not, we're going to have to move on. It was buffering earlier.
In the Wounded Warrior.
Lord. Okay, you guys, I may have to take a pass on this one.
Walking and for a good cause, and just to see how excited they all are about what they're doing, and to get the, to see the.
Well, that was Dan Marino's voice, but let me see if I can do something else here. Because he describes his time with Prince Harry, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. But it seems like there may be a bit of a kink in the system. Maybe I should have pre-recorded it. Let me try it one more time, and then if not, we'll move on. Okay, and that's the negative, not working. All right, sorry, you guys. Anyway, Dan Marino spoke about the time that he spent walking for the wounded soldiers with Prince Harry. Unfortunately, that soundbite, which was kind of iffy the first time around, is not working this time around. Oh, man, that's really too bad. Oh, well. So we'll move on. Matter of fact, let me try this. I'm going to turn my phone off and turn it back on and see if that works later. If not, let's continue. So right there, you can see we are proud to continue our support with Walking with the Wounded and their new campaign, Walking Home for Christmas. Get involved. Again, you can see this was from back in 2015. TBT to our walk with Prince Harry, Dan Marino, and Osi Umenyaura back in 2015. So they actually posted it again in 2018. So every time Super Bowl comes around, or just when they feel like they need to remember some of their fond memories, they will talk about this very thing. Well, what I didn't know is that OC is actually from London. He's actually from the UK. And you can see that they had a little bit of a conversation. I believe this took place yesterday in Las Vegas. You can tell from the lights, but that took place yesterday in Las Vegas. So that one I'm sure is going to work. So I'm going to share that one with you for certain. But anyway, I just reset my phone by turning it off and turning it back on. And well, anyway, I hope this works. If you just joined us, thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you are not subscribed, please do subscribe. Do you know that we're just about 59 subscribers away from 51,000 subscribers? That's right, 51,000.
With Prince Harry and the Wounded Warriors and walking and for a good cause, and just to see how excited they all are about it.
Okay. Of course, I tried the other one again. It didn't work. So concentrate on the upper right image. Oh my God, Twitter is so bad tonight. That's what the problem is. Twitter is so bad tonight.
Were you surprised to see Prince Harry there?
I really was, honestly. I didn't expect that. Team Harry.
I thought he was good. It was a funny speech. Did you see his speech?
Good evening, NFL. It's an honor to be with you all tonight. I really love how you stole rugby from us, and you made it your own. Instead of passing it backwards, just pass it forwards. Why not wear pads and a helmet? Of course, have an offense and defense. That makes sense. And why not take a breather every 15 seconds? And you know what? Instead of a 10-month season, let's just make it 18 weeks. Genius. All kidding aside, what you guys do on and off the field is truly remarkable. You are role models for millions in the way you carry yourselves and in the way you give back.
Me and Harry go way back, though, so we're not going to talk about that.
I don't even know what's going on.
No, really, we took like a walk. We walked like 100 miles together.
Really?
Yeah, when I first got here. So me and him, I know him really well.
You do?
Another thing you guys don't know about.
Yeah, that's solid, man. I know.
Did you hear that? Oshie was saying that he had went for that 100-mile walk with Harry. Well, I think Harry had actually only did about 17 miles of the walk. But the thing is, they had, and by the way, do you notice that there's David Wiseman? See him back there with the gray t-shirt on? So there's Oshie, or Osi, if I'm saying his name right, just behind Harry there on the left side. And there's David Wiseman right there. And of course, this was back in 2015. And David Wiseman has been along for this journey with the Invictus games with Harry ever since it started in 2014. So just goes to show that Harry knows a lot of people that you don't even know of, like Dan Marino, like OC. I'm sorry, I can't say that name right. And of course, there's David Wiseman, always present when it has to do with the Wounded Warriors or the Invictus games. And then right here, this guy, he actually will tell a little bit about the occasion. Let's see, let me get him up here.
Over 67 million Americans will bet a record $23 billion on this weekend's Super Bowl. It is truly going to be one of those games for the history books. And as you said, people would be describing this year's event as being equivalent to a World Cup final or even royal wedding. And it's just after midnight here. And as you can see behind me, the motorway has come to a standstill with thousands of people now arriving here to Las Vegas.
Oh, thanks very much. And you can...
Over 67 million Americans will bet a record $23 billion on this weekend's Super Bowl. It is truly going to be one of those games for the history books. And as you said, people would be describing this year's event as being equivalent to a World Cup final or even royal wedding. And it's just after midnight here. And as you can see behind me, the motorway has come to a standstill with thousands of people now arriving here to Las Vegas.
Do you guys know what else was said to be like the Super Bowl, but it wasn't the Super Bowl? Do you remember what else was supposed to be like the Super Bowl? Do you remember when William and Kate went to Boston and his people were saying that the Earth shot in Boston was supposed to be like the Super Bowl, as if they have any knowledge of what it means to be Super Bowl? That was funny then, and right now it's just hilarious. But they swore up and down that event called Earth Flop in Boston, which most people in Boston either didn't know or didn't care about it. They were trying to make out like it was going to be this big deal, but it was a flop, Earth Flop. It was just like the first Earth Flop when absolutely nobody showed up. They had a few obligatory celebs that they paid to be there, like flying in the guy that wants the knighthood, Beckham. But other than that, it was a complete flop and nothing. And I mean, nobody says something is like the Super Bowl unless it's the Super Bowl. Look at the family of four back there. See the baby in the pram, the son and mom and dad. And I think there may be a little girl, another little girl there somewhere, but that maybe a family of five. Those are the people that are supposed to be the crowd of onlookers witnessing a spectacle much like much like the Super Bowl. That's their words, not mine. They the ones who tried to equate it to the Super Bowl, not I. Not I. Let's see. Got a new member, TT Jones. Thank you so much for being a new member of Royal Sussex. Thank you very much. All right, moving on. See if we can get you guys out of here before the halftime show. So there again is that long walk in the country. The walk was for over 1,000 miles, but again, I think Harry did about 17 miles to show his support. And right there, you can see the group shot. There's OC and there's Harry all the way in the back there. And there's Dan Marino. Yeah, see him to the right of Harry. That's Dan Marino, big super football star. So again, this is probably around the time when Harry's connection to the NFL was made. And okay, let me see. Was I through with NFL before I get into that one? Let me make sure. You know, sometimes I put stuff out of order. Wait, let me double check. Yes, I think so, except for one thing. Let me check on something that I want to show you. Let me check on something. Today might be as good a day as any. Let me check. No. Okay. There we go. At least I think this is it.
Ian Roberts.
Nice to meet you.
Peter Tencio.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Jerome Smith.
Come on, brother. What's up, fam? You know this.
Heath Williamson.
Nice to meet you.
Mary
All right.
Woodbury.
Nice to meet you.
Jay Martell.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Tasha Robinson.
Come on.
Now, did you see that? That was light-skinned Harry. This is why we call him light-skinned Harry. When Harry went to greet the rugby players here, you'll notice that he comes strutting in there just like a brother. Just like a brother, he comes strutting in there. Do you see how people respond to him? This is why we call him light-skinned Harry. And it just reminds you of the scene that on the second part of this. See there? You see what I'm saying? Harry come in there just like a brother, strutting, so handshake and everything. And that's why we call him light-skinned Harry. But better the Ginger Avenger, because that's what he is. So anyway, that's it with the football for now. Now you can see King Charles set his health woes aside and gives a wave to well-wishers as he steps out to attend church in Sandringham with Queen Camilla, the Queen Consort, the emotional support Camilla, after shock cancer diagnosis. Well, sadly, the United States Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is back in the hospital for emergent bladder issue. Defense Secretary Austin is back in the hospital. Notice they said the hospital. Back in the hospital for emergent bladder issue, according to Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder. He also has had a cancer scare. He, as a matter of fact, he was treated, I believe, for prostate cancer. And problematic is the reason why it was problematic is because he did not alert the president before he went in for treatment. So, according to his physician, he is still able to do his job, but there was something weird about that. Anyway, so as they say, for older guys like myself, make sure that you are aware of your, screening schedule. Like, for instance, colon cancer, all those things. You got to make sure you keep up with that. That goes for women too. Make sure that you are doing all your screenings on time. Now, moving on. There's Edward on the left, and there's Willie on the right. I don't know if there's something in the waters or what's happening, but I'm telling you, this slimmed down monarchy is not looking as healthy as one would expect, even for some of the younger. Not that, Edward is the same age as Willie. They just look the same age. Gloria Wedderburn got a new member? Thank you so much for joining Royal Sussex and being a new member of Royal Sussex. Oh, that is so cool. And just as we're so close to 51,000 subscribers, outstanding. Which reminds me, if you are not subscribed, please make sure that you subscribe to Royal Sussex. We are just 51. It is, what is it? Yeah, we're just like 57 subscribers away from 51,000. How exciting. Almost 51,000 subscribers. Shut the front door. All right, so if you're not subscribed, please make sure you do. Yeah, I know, Susie Q. I know. Edward, we don't know what's going on with him. I don't even want to speculate. As for Willie Leaks, same. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm not going to speculate. But it's jarring and somewhat alarming to see their appearance. Okay. Now. Okay. I'm stalling because I cannot leave those pistachios alone. Cannot leave those pistachios alone. Those things. I got to get those away from me. Church Nelly, tell us how you really feel. So I spy with my little eye a certain American princess in the oh God, what does that say? In the latest Aquazura ad. I just saw this ad and got really excited. Ending the ads with 2 pictures of Meghan. I know Aquazura loves her for the exposure she gives them. And lastly, she always looks so graceful and elegant in those shoes. When I see Aquazura pumps, I always think of Meghan. Social media users took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to share their thoughts on Meghan's feature in Aquazura's latest advert. As a matter of fact, I think she was the only royal that was featured in the advert. There you go. There you go. Meghan Markle, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, Princess Meghan, wearing those aquazuras. Yes, work it. Work it. She is eating it up. And of course, when they had that little thing yesterday, well, did it come out yesterday? I think it was yesterday. They actually had a really cool little ad that they released on social media. I don't know if they're using it on television, but I know I saw it on social media. And how cool was that? That it featured our Duchess, the Duchess of Sussex. Matter of fact, I will show it to you. Let me go ahead and show you that right quick. There it is. It starts with this book, and then the book page starts turning, and the next page, and the next page. And at the very end of all the pages, there was the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Meghan loves her aquazuras. And of course, oh, wait a minute. Did I show it to you? No, I didn't. I'm so sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm just talking my way through it, and I didn't even have it open to the right one. So let me do that again. And I think I'll show it to you. Wait, and I think I will show it to you. Will I show it to you? Of course I will. Man, that's small. Okay, let me see. Wait for it. Wait a minute. What day is that? That's the 10th. Okay, I done did that yesterday. So, all right, let me say it again. And I think I'll show it to you. Wanna? Oh, hell, I don't see it. Wait a minute. Right. Okay. So it starts with the book pages turning, and then all of a sudden, there are the images of different people and ad campaigns featuring the aquazura. And then if that's not enough, bam, there's Harry and Meghan. The one on the left, that is the engagement interview. And then the one on the right, that of course is on their way to the wedding reception. And on both occasions, there was that American princess, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, proudly wearing her aquazura. Eat your heart out, Kensington Palace. And then let's go here. There you can see. There, I love this photo right here. There's a nice close-up of them. I mean, that one is okay, but it's all blurry. But look at there. Meghan with those shoulders out. Beautiful shoulders. Toned, fit arms. She looks amazing. See what that yoga does for you? And hi. Hi. Well, I tell you, this is why the Derangers get so burned up, because they just look so good. I don't care what they say. The Sussexes just look amazing. They are nice people, and they look amazing. Okay, so let's move on to this spot of bother. You guys, trigger warning. I got to get through this, but trigger warning. So I said there's a new strategy. This is the old strategy. I'm going to show you the new one after this. But can you believe that Victoria Newton had the caucasity to say some disparaging things about the Duke of Sussex? Prince Harry is angry with the world. That's what she said. I'm going to play the soundbite for you. Try not to smash your electronic device. But she went there. She went there. Sun editor Victoria Newton says she doesn't think the Duke of Sussex should still be frustrated with the press, and it's a shame that he bears so much anger despite all that therapy. And Kaiser posted that, actually. She said they asked a tabloid editor who hacked royals if Harry still has the right to be upset with crimes committed against him. what the actual frappuccino is happening over there. And then someone else quoted, Harry shouldn't be annoyed with the tabloids, says tabloid editor. Yeah, she's a tabloid editor saying that Harry shouldn't be annoyed. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm banging my fist. That Harry shouldn't be annoyed. If he should not be annoyed with the invasion of his privacy and also the privacy or privacy of those people close to him, those people who also had their voices lifted off of his voicemail if they didn't hack into their phones as well. Putting a tracker on Harry's girlfriend's car. Do you know how many people have lost friendships, have lost time with their relatives because of the tabloid media? And Harry shouldn't still be upset? And she was serious. And what's really worse is that, what is her name? Laura Kuenssberg gives her a platform and did not challenge her in the least when she said that. Now, I'm going to let you hear part of what she said, but between me and you, I think it was absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. And the people that allow a platform for these monsters should be taken to task. They should be taken to task because it is awful, awful. Okay. And she said it. It was like a lazy yawn how easily that came out of her mouth.
Talking though of that rocky history, there are still rocky relationships we know in the royal family. Prince Harry flew in this week and then disappeared very quickly. But he also, Victoria, settled his legal action against the Mirror this week, and the fight between Prince Harry and the newspapers goes on. We know there is also a case against the newspaper group News UK that you're a part of, and we can't get into the legal details. But can you assure our viewers that the kind of practices we've heard about, the kind of practices Prince Harry has complained about, can you assure people that's come to an end? It doesn't happen anymore.
100%. Obviously, as you say, I can't comment on the ongoing cases. But, you know, I've been editor for 4 years now, and I've never covered stories on Prince Harry. It wasn't my bag going back. It goes back a long way, and it's absolutely 100% not what happens today.
Do you think Harry has still got the sort of right to be this cross with how the press behaved if things have changed?
No, I don't. But I think he's also cross with lots of people. He's really cross with the courtiers. He's really cross with his brother. He's really cross with his father. He's angry with the world. And it's a shame that he still bears so much anger despite all that therapy. I personally thought it was brilliant that he flew over to see his father, despite their very difficult relationship. It gives reason to feel optimistic that the two of them can perhaps repair that, which I think our readers certainly want. They want the whole family to be back together. And I thought it was great of Harry that he did what any normal person would have done and jumped straight on the plane, as I did when I got that same call in California that my father had cancer. I jumped on the plane even though he said, don't bother. So well done, Harry, and well done, the King, for taking the time to see him from his busy schedule. We all know he does not like changing that diary, but they did. So maybe this is a reason for hope.
Talking though of that.
Did you hear her? Did you hear? Citing Harry's therapy as one reason why he shouldn't still be upset. I don't know that he's upset as much as he's trying to make sure that the country that he was born into, the country that he loves, is no longer suffering under the plague of this phone hacking, of this highly criminal-like behavior from the tabloid media, which has included trackers on cars, stealing medical information, hacking into phones, as well as burglaries. The tabloid media has acted like they were some type of spy agency. The only difference is when they're doing it, it's highly illegal. But if it's a spy agency operating within their own country, then at least they can make the case that they're doing it for the protection of humanity, for the protection of the people in their country. But for this was all clickbait and profit. This was all selling newspapers. These are a bunch of schoolyard privileged bullies, most of them having gone to nice schools, grown up in financially well-off families, and seemingly above the law. And just so you know, the one with the dark blue on, that is Victoria Newton. The host is the one in red. So, yeah, she said it. Baron, you know I adore you, but I did not expect you to come on before the Usher halftime show was over. Well, to be fair, I was trying to beat the halftime, and I had no idea when it was starting, but yeah. But anyway, for those of you that need to go and catch the halftime, go on. You could watch later, I suppose. But thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see. Faith Miller says, and why did she make it about her? When I visited my father, and she couldn't look anyone in the eye when you watched the. Yes, absolutely. She mostly looked down at the table. You're absolutely right. When you look at the clip, she's mostly looking down at the table. Now, let's review Victoria Newton, shall we? I was with Charles on his last. Wait a minute, I got to drink some water. And stop eating those doggone cashews. Oh, man. Okay. So there's a picture that she's holding on her phone, and I neglected to put the picture on the slide. I only just thought about it just now. But she's showing Charles a picture of Kate, Willie, and the kids on her phone. As a matter of fact, I know that's what it is. You can actually zoom into it in a nice clear photo. And yeah, so the last day that he was Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, she was actually there with them. Go figure. Well, that makes sense though, doesn't it? That does make sense that she would be there. And mind you, I want you all to remember when Charles is standing there with Victoria Newton, his mother was slowly dying. Everyone who saw his mother greet Liz Truss knew that she didn't have long to live. And where was Charlie? Was he there at Balmoral like Anne? To be there when his mother's 70-year reign ends, when her 76 or 96 years on Earth is over? No, he was setting up for an interview. Charles does not protect the people in his life. He doesn't protect his own family. He would throw anybody to the wolves. And unfortunately, while they're trying to, you know what? I won't tell you right now. Maybe you know. I'll share it with you in due course. But when I get to the next thing after Victoria Newton, think about what I just said about him not protecting people. But yeah, there you go. What do you call it? The Prince of Wales, as he was there with the editor of one of those rags, doing God knows what. But of course, let me remind you too, that if she is there, she's not there really on a work assignment. She is there just hanging out. She's just there hanging out. Charles entertains a lot of the members of the press. He entertains a lot of members of the press, and she's just one of them. And again, this is the day before his mother dies. his priorities were spending time with the tabloid media, with the editor of a tabloid. One of the people that obviously seems to hate his child, and that's who he's spending time with. I'm telling you, that's about as twisted as it could get. And while I'm at this place where I'm thinking, well, don't say anything negative, lots of sympathy, and he's sick and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he doesn't make it easy. I promise you, he does not make it easy. So let me see here. I want to show you that particular picture. Do I have it here? Anyway, I'll come back to it, but I will show you that. Oh, there it is right there. There it is right there. Found it. Found it. Sometimes my labels work. This is the photo. This is the photo that he was looking at while he was hanging out with a tabloid editor the day before his mother died, right? This was his priority, was entertaining her, possibly at Dumfries' house or one of the other places nearby. Victoria, I was with Charles on the last working day as the Prince of Wales as he hosted me with typical generosity. What type of generosity was that, Victoria Newton? Do tell. I'd like to know. With typical generosity. Okay. So, Sun editor Victoria Newton allegedly wrote hacked stories in her previous job at the Daily Mail. Newton has already been accused of alleged phone hacking at her main paper, The Sun. The controversial editor has been repeatedly named as an alleged phone hacker in the High Court. Newton, nasty piece of work, says one of the squaddies. She's the Sun editor, a reported hacker who oversaw and approved this disgusting targeting of Prince Harry's wife. As a matter of fact, take a look at that. Meghan, though, is a different story. I hate her, not like I hate Nicola Sturgeon or Rose West. I hate her on a cellular level. Well, that is that horrific piece that was written by Jeremy Clarkson. Didn't she sign off on this article? Isn't she the one who signed off on this article? Yes, thank you, Helene. We're always on the same page. Absolutely. You're right on it. Absolutely. There you go. That's the same Victoria Newton. Now, I have never asked for anything from any Prime Minister, Rupert Murdoch's letter. Well, on a number of occasions, now your paper has quoted me as saying, when I go into Downing Street, they know what I say when I go there. Let me pull that down. I'm guessing what it says. When I go into Downing Street, they do what I say. When I go to Brussels, they take no notice. So Brussels, of course, being the home of the European Union, when he goes there, they don't pay him any attention. But if he goes to Downing Street, they probably put him up for the night if he wants to, although Downing Street might be a downgrade from his usual accommodations. There is much fake news published about me, but let me make clear that I have never uttered those words. I have made it a principle all my life never to ask for anything from any Prime Minister, Rupert Murdoch. Well, okay, so that's the quote above that paragraph, but below it, he said he's never uttered those words. Who are you going to believe? Rupert Murdoch or what do you call it? But the reason why I brought this up, Media Mogul met government representatives 12 times in 2022 and to 2023. When he was chair of News Corp. That's right. Rupert Murdoch met Rishi Sunak 5 times in a 12-month period. No justice, no peace. 5 times. And of course, the media mogul Rupert Murdoch met Rishi Sunak 5 times over a 12-month period before he stepped down as the chair of News Corp in September last year, according to government records. Official records of the government meeting analyzed by the campaign group Hacked Off show that the former head of News Corp, which owns the Times, the Sun newspaper in the UK, personally met government representatives 12 times between October 2022 and September 2023, including 5 meetings with the Prime Minister. These include a dinner in December of 2022 and a meeting the following day with Robert Thompson, the CEO of News Corp, Rebecca Brooks, you know that name, don't you? And of course, CEO of News UK, the Times editor, Tony Gallagher, former Sunday Times editor, Emma Tucker, and the Sun editor, Victoria Newton, to discuss the Prime Minister's priorities. The two men then met again in May of 2023 for a politician discussion. And again in June for the Times CEO Summit and subsequently party. And in September last year for a social meeting. There are no publicly available minutes of the meeting. In other words, whatever the topic is or was shall forever remain confidential. Media mogul met government representative 12, saw that already. Okay. The actor and Hacked Off campaigner Hugh Grant, whose damages claim against the Sun Publisher News Group newspaper and subsidiary of News Corp, is expected to go to trial next year. Call for an end to secretive meetings between media barons and government after the record showed that there was 534 meetings between the press and the government over a 12-month period. 534 meetings. Not a press conference, not an interview, but meetings to discuss what? Policy. There is something patently wrong about that. There is such a conflict of interest. I mean, that is lobbying over glasses of martinis. So King Charles conspires with Rupert Murdoch to destroy his son, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle, said someone. And of course, King Charles has been colluding with Rupert Murdoch via his wife, Camilla, to destroy the Sussexes. Well, it has been alleged. All of this is alleged, of course, but I don't think the collusion stops there. I think it continues with Willie leaks. So that is what the Sussexes are up against. You have an entire government. You have an entire media industry, as well as a lot of little hanger-ons and ne'er-do-wells, if you will, that have constantly targeted the Sussex, especially some of those two-bid reporters that instead of reporting on real news, they are doing nothing but manning a post and waging a culture war. That's what it is. They're not delivering news. They're only giving out propaganda and waging a culture war. And of course, it should come as no surprise to see those three. There's Piers Morgan, there's Jeremy Clarkson, and Rupert Murdoch. What a curious trio they make. Yes, Rupert Murdoch, the man who is worth billions but can never seem to put his glasses on straight. I don't understand the thing with the glasses. I really don't. The one on over his left ear is up on the side of his head, and the other, I don't know, but that is driving me crazy. Every time I see that wrinkled old fart, I just want to adjust his glasses. But if you open up the dictionary or if you Google old fart, I wonder if Rupert Murdoch shows up, right? And when you open up the Google search, make sure you turn the sound up because you know it's going to make a sound like somebody's passing gas. As a matter of fact, something tells me when Rupert Murdoch takes his last breath, while the family is surrounding his rotting, decaying corpse, I'm pretty sure that somebody is going to say, did somebody pass gas? His last breath is going to be like a fart. I promise you, it's going to be like a fart. He's an old fart. That is the definition of an old fart. Now, this is the one that's really going to make you turn over a table like you're on a reality show. Victoria Mather. Victoria Mather. What is a fact that stress, what is a fact is stress is a huge cause. I can't even say it out loud because I might get messed up by saying it out loud. I think Prince Harry has to look at his part in this. The royal correspondent Victoria Mather suggests to Rachel Johnson that Megxit could be part of the reason Charles is currently unwell with cancer. Now, of course, I don't like to use the M word, but that misogynistic phrase, Megxit, tries to hold Meghan responsible for Harry waking up and smelling the coffee. So Victoria Mather is the lady that you see on above the word stress is, and there you can see her on the right wearing that hyacinth bouquet sports jacket. That is Victoria Mather. She is an awful, awful person. Victoria Mather is, I don't know if she's banned from American television, but she should be because she went there. She is a royal correspondent who will make up anything to satisfy her overlords. Marjorie Austin says, that's the reason said when you speak to power, they try annihilating you. Hear, hear. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex for 6 months. So let me do a couple of sound bites. And during the sound bites, I promise you, I am going to ignore those cashews that are just waving at me right now. I'm going to ignore them. But here we go. Let me see. No, I'll do the well, let me see. Which one do I want to do first? Oh, you know what? They may have taken that other one down. But okay, let me get to the one on the right side where she was on MSNBC. I'll get to that one.
Saw a complete disparagement between the headlines of coverage of Kate Middleton and coverage for Meghan Markle. So it seems like there was some reasoning for them wanting to step back.
Well, I mean, don't forget, Prince Harry has always been the spare to the heir. So I don't think Meghan Markle wanted to spend the rest of her life looking at Kate Middleton's back as she sat in the second row to the future Queen. I do hear that she gave Kate a knife for Christmas, which is quite something, isn't it? I don't think she didn't want to be second best. And I don't think she got that is what the fusty-dusty protocol of the royal family consists of. It is a matter of precedence. it may all fall apart and become very different when the Queen dies. I think what has really, really upset the British public is that Meghan Markle, who many people consider is only, 5 clicks up from trailer trash, has actually tried to disrespect the Queen. And the Queen is the most respected woman in the world.
Victoria Mather, we should mention NBC News has now confirmed what you had mentioned about a knife gifting. But we thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us this morning. Coming up,
Yes, she went there. She referred to our Duchess as 5 clicks up from trailer trash. She went there. That's Victoria Mather. All right. Now, Victoria Mather is the same person who is implying that Harry needs to consider whether or not he has caused cancer to form in Charles' body. Right. Let me play that one for you. And they might even take this off of Twitter because it is going to get quite a few complaints. I promise you.
What I do know, and what is a fact, is that stress is a huge cause of cancer. It's the cause that's never talked about. It's the elephant in the room, stress. And I speak as someone who survived cancer, and mine was definitely caused by stress. And we cannot possibly say that the King has not been stressed by events like Brexit. So I think that Prince Harry has to look at his part in this. What I do know, and what is a fact, is that stress is a huge cause of cancer. It's the cause that's never talked about. It's the elephant in the room, stress. And I speak as someone who survived cancer, and mine was definitely caused by stress. And we cannot possibly say that the King has not been stressed by events like Brexit. So I think that Prince Harry has to look at his part in this. What I do know.
Okay, so that is what she said. Now, there was just someone on Talk TV that tried to do the same thing, implying that because Harry and Meghan left, that has caused cancer, right? That is patently untrue, unfair. It is a lie. It is designed to create hostility against the Sussexes. And that was on Talk TV. The expert, so-called royal expert, that fat, sloppy-looking guy, he said that, and immediately the quote was put right by one of the guests on the show. That is very dangerous to imply something like that. And there's no evidence whatsoever. But that is their new strategy. That is the new talking point. That is what they're trying to accuse Harry of as a way to... let me see. Do I have that one here? No, I don't. I don't think I have it. But I did play the other one from Talk TV where they just tried to do the same thing. And again, that was put straight by one of the guests on the show. It was untrue then, it's untrue now. And they should stop doing that. It is misleading to people. It might encourage someone who needs to see a doctor to say, well, I don't have much stress in my life. I don't think I need to bother, because that's what causes it. It may cause someone to blame an innocent party for their own illness, possibly driven by a lifestyle, or it can be genetic. Who knows? But it's very dangerous to imply something like that when you don't know if that's the case. But again, this is the same person that referred to Meghan as trailer trash. Now, Rachel Johnson is the one who hosted the interview. You see there on LBC there, stress right there, that's Victoria Mather. Well, Rachel Johnson, see there? Royal correspondent Victoria Mather suggests to Rachel Johnson that Megxit, yes, that Rachel Johnson, the Rachel Johnson who is sister to Boris Johnson, Bojo. And right up there, you see there, thin blue blood and Spencer pale skin and ginger hair with some rich exotic DNA. Rachel Johnson's Daily Mail, and that was November of 2016. 2016, when they started dating. That's when Harry and Meghan started dating. That was one of the many headlines that was supposed to make Meghan feel welcome to the United Kingdom, right? Harry to marry into gangster royalty. Of course, that's not from Rachel Johnson, that's someone else. From crime-ridden neighborhood or LA neighborhood, whatever it says behind there. And of course, straight out of Harry's girl is almost straight out of Compton. Gang-scarred home of her mother revealed. So will he be dropping by for tea? But I want you to take a look at the bottom. I think this sums it up best. George VI had lung cancer. Queen Elizabeth II had bone cancer. Now Charles III has cancer. Unspecified, but has cancer. You're saying is not genetics so that you could blame on someone else. That's about the stress caused by Andrew and death of his parents, right? P.S. Camilla is a smoker. What if Charles has lung cancer? And I'll tell you another thing. Not all lung cancer is created equal. There are some people who die of lung cancer that never smoked. And then you have the Queen of Denmark, who is a notorious chain smoker, who seems to be in very good health, aside from a hip replacement. She seems to be in very good health. Not all cancer is created equal. So there you have it. In this day and age, we still know less than what is available to know, in my estimate, but we don't know as much about where cancer comes from and how to stop it and such. But certain people have those genetic markers and some people don't. And of course, Rachel Johnson is the one who featured Marjorie Wallace. Remember that thing with the where she was saying that Harry needs to stop complaining and get on with it or whatever. And she was the founder of a mental health charity, right? That was Rachel Johnson that featured her. And then take a look down there at the bottom. Again, Harry and Meghan have booby-trapped coronation for young stars as King struggles to fill the bill. So nobody wants to sing for the colonizers. And who do they blame? Harry and Meghan. Who's doing the blaming? Rachel Johnson. You see, these same people, their names keep popping up. And you need only go to your receipts and enter the name, and all manner of things comes flying out of the computer, which is exactly what I did. As soon as I found out it had to do with Rachel Johnson, I started going into my receipts, and here we are. Let's see, Rachel Johnson. Sorry, Harry, but your beautiful bolter has failed my mommy test. Again, we welcomed Meghan with open arms. We welcome Meghan with open arms. That's what they keep saying. So one of these things is true, and the other is just a lie accompanied with all of the dog whistles or both or whatever. But yeah, Rachel Johnson. Now, here's the good news. It's not really going to make up for it But Omid Scobie tweeted, "The lowest of the low. Wasn't this the same royal expert who got yanked off air during a live NBC broadcast after using a slur about Meghan?" Yeah, using a slur and accusing Meghan of giving Kate a knife for Christmas. Where she got that from, God only knows. But anyway, notice the bottom on the left there. It says, no, being stressed doesn't directly increase the risk of cancer. The best quality studies have followed up many people for several years. They have found no evidence that those who are more stressed are more likely to get cancer. From Cancer Research UK. From Cancer Research UK. They had to add that to the posting on Twitter. This is the new Twitter where they don't really care what you say, but because people have complained, they had to add that to the post so that people will not be misled by the likes of stupid Victoria Mather. And she is stupid and ignorant and common and trashy herself. So, and take a look on the right. That is not going to stop this narrative. As I said, this seems to be the new thing. Cancer-stricken King Charles only saw his son, Prince Harry, for 30 minutes to keep his stress level down, royal expert claims. Writer and broadcaster Robert gasping for his last breath, Jobson, said that King Charles needed most was a bit of peace and quiet. Again, the implication that Harry is making his father sick. It wasn't the stress of trying to marry his mistress and bring her into the Church of England to put her on the throne, even though that they both of them are known adulterers. Trying to sell an adulterous relationship to an entire nation does not cause stress. But your son running for his life with his family for the pain and suffering that you and the rest of your family and your courtiers and those right-wing tabloids have caused, that doesn't cause stress, right? That doesn't cause stress. The fact that at the most vulnerable time in a woman's life, Meghan, who was pregnant with child, lost the baby during a very tumultuous period. Now that, I would say, has direct effect. But this whole thing about the cancer, nay. That is made up by the tabloid media because Harry just won again. Harry just got a substantial settlement, so they went into the war room. They got on their drawing board and came up with a strategy to try to inflict as much pain on Harry as possible. So that way, when Charles meets his end, they'll have someone to blame it on. They will find it useful when the time comes. This is like really planting a seed. That's what this is. They're planting a seed. And that Victoria Mather person, she's just one of several that are doing that, including Robert Jobson and, of course, Rachel Johnson for putting her on the air in the first place. And then whatever person that was on Talk TV. This is like maybe the third time that I've seen this type of narrative being used against the Sussexes, but certainly not the last. If they don't know something, they'll just make it up. If they want to cause pain, they'll just make it up. That seems to be the strategy. And I promise you, I am sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick! I'm just sick of it. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could fix image. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Lydia Washington has a, now I done lost it. Lord have mercy. Let me see. Okay. Prayers for Desiree Dotson and her family over the loss of her beloved aunt who passed away, asking for prayers of comfort. Once again, prayers of comfort for Desiree Dotson and her family. Very sad to hear that. But we are here for you, and thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you, Lydia Washington. And Marjorie Austin says, then every black person after slavery would have, exactly, would have got it. But thank you so much, Marjorie Austin. But yeah, I'm just outraged by this. Absolutely outraged. Anything that they can think of, anything that they can think of, there's no bottom for them. There is no bottom. They never reach the lowest of the lows. Ever. Is what do they call it? It's just for the sake of it. It really is for the sake of it. They're bullies. They're nothing but bullies. Thank you, Gracie. Let me see. Kim Truman says, pray that God bless and comfort Desiree and her family in Jesus' name. Amen to that. Let me see. Denise Marcus, how dare you make me smile when I'm trying to be angry? Inbreeding cancer is my guess. Okay, well, thank you, Denise Marcus. I didn't really think of it like that. And of course, there is no evidence, but I'll accept that. Yes. Woo! Okay. Well, that'll take my blood pressure back down. And Robert Jobson co-signing. Robert Jobson co-signing. Yes, Irma Adams. That was a very, very, and there was that one particular time when the Sussexes left from an office building, which may have had medical off. Well, it did have medical offices. Nobody know why they were there, but it was, I believe, in the month of July or something like that. Don't quote me on it. But Harry looked particularly aggressive. Meghan, of course, had her usual pleasant demeanor, although if that was the occasion where they were following up after the miscarriage, I just and what happens? The tabloids get a hold of this paparazzi photo, which of course we did not feature on Royal Sussex. And then, of course, they went on and on about them in a gas guzzling SUV. And even that was a lie. It was actually a hybrid. It was a hybrid, which had the highest. I put it to you like this: you could have a 4-cylinder car and not have the same efficiency as a hybrid SUV with its 8-cylinder engine or whatever. So it was a hybrid. It was a Cadillac Escalade hybrid, but it didn't matter. It was a large vehicle, probably not nearly as heavy as the State Bentley, not nearly as heavy as the State Bentley, but that's not the point. The point is to say something negative about Sussexes at all time. You know what? I tell you, I have a new appreciation for Harry and Meghan, because I don't think that this is just Harry doing this by himself. I cannot help but believe that Meghan was like, go get him. Go get him. A wife would have to be on board with this with the legal cases that Harry has brought about against the media. She would have to be on board with it. I don't think that he would carry on if she wasn't on board with it. but they obviously have agreed as a couple that this is what we're going to do. And it takes as long as it takes. And I really applaud Meghan for sticking by his side, because not everyone would do that. A lot of people would just fold and try to go back into the matrix. But that's not how it is. They're in this together. And Harry wanted someone to be a team, and not just a wife, but a team. And that's what he has. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for both of them that they have each other. They're meant to be together. They're strong together, and definitely their marriage, their partnership is definitely changing the world. It's going to change the British media, which in turn will change all of media, and it's going to change the online digital world. And I believe in the future that people are going to thank them for their efforts. And not just them, but a lot of people like Baroness Lawrence, right? What happened to her? Hugh Grant. There's so many people that have suffered because of the tabloid media. Denise Welsh. There's a lot of people who have suffered, and people are pushing back. And it's hard to have sympathy for someone who seemingly is rich and privileged, but they're still people. And this doesn't affect only the rich. This is the Molly, what's her name? The one they hacked to get the dead girl's phone. This is the 7-7 bus, the terrorist thing where they were going after the people in the hospital as though they were the criminals. This is a lot of people. This affects everyone, especially where Rupert Murdoch is concerned, where he has completely hijacked journalism as we know it and turned it into something ugly. Just like him, something ugly. Now, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could fix image by returning to the UK for royal duties. Exclusive, it says, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could help turn around their image by returning to Duke's home country. I'm sorry, I couldn't get through that without laughing. And taking up their royal duties again, an expert has claimed. This one squatty says, let me just fix this headline for you. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could trash their image by returning to the UK for royal duties. That's better. They are certainly not the ones needing to fix their image. So yeah, again, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could trash their image by returning to the UK for royal duties. That should be the headline, not this other malarkey that they have here. But the tabloid media, yes, Bunny Rose, yes. Let me calm down, you guys. I am just like really, really hyped up right now. Let me take a drink of water. But I was so frustrated. I just needed to get this out of my system. And you just see this play out. You see this playing out as though nobody is going. This is why the Sussex squad is a thorn in the side of the tabloid media. This is why they are doing their best to try to discredit the Sussex squad whenever they get a chance. Because if it wasn't for us, who else would push back? Who else would push back? You certainly can't depend on the legacy media because they seem to be in cahoots with them. So if it wasn't for the Sussex squad, who else would do this? Who else will pull out receipts? Who else will go into those spaces where they perpetuate these untruths, mistruths, or lies, or whatever? Who else will go into the lion's den and take them on? And credit to the squaddies on the Twitter who have done an incredible job. I mean, it's almost like photographic memory, the way that they can recall those things. I mean, there are some in particular that are incredible. And while I would love to share their names directly, some of them I don't think would mind, but you still have to be careful because I don't want to flood their inboxes with derangers. So we'll just make sure we credit the fact that it was someone else who has, made certain quotes or made certain things available. It is very, very helpful. I couldn't do what I do without them. Let's see. Nafisa Shabazz, peace and blessing to everyone. Harry and Meghan committed to each other a long time before they married. Jungle, Lion, and Tent. Yes, when they were in Africa, right? Covenant. Yeah, Jungles, Lions, and Tent equals covenant. He told her he would protect her, and she believes him. Believes him. Absolutely, Nafisa. Thank you so much for that. You get a bell for that. Thank you very much. Let me calm down. I am just mad today. I am so angry. I am. I'm very angry about this. It's just so tacky. It's just so tacky. And then when you consider the source, and so this right here, yes, they do want them back desperately. They want the Sussexes over there for engagement because they are losing money. They lost so much money because Meghan didn't go to the Living Legacies of Aviation Award. They lost so much money that night. They were hoping to have a red carpet moment, right? And they didn't get the benefit. Meghan stayed home, and rightly so, because of illness in the family. She stayed home. When you have little ones, stuff like that happens. And rather than having someone else there, like her mom or whomever, she decided, well, I'll just stay home. That was her prerogative. It wasn't her night anyway. She just stayed home, and they just about crapped their pants. And this is why nobody believes the British tabloid media. Take a look at this. How much do Britons trust news from top outlets? Well, as you can see, one of the most trusted is BBC and ITV. Well, BBC, and this is what I've been telling you all for the longest, the reason why they have gone after the BBC is because the BBC is still trusted above most other news agencies. So they found Dum Dum here, William Dum Dum. They found him and put a speech in his hand and said, here, remember that money that we gave you, allegedly? Remember that money we gave you? Go and read this speech. Do it. And he did. Yes, Aline, they will be out in force in Whistler. You can believe that. And they got notification the Sussexes will be there. They sure will. So, but you know what, though? They are going to run into a roadblock because you remember when Harry and Meghan was there when they first left from the UK and they were living at that lake house? One of the reasons why they didn't have much to report is because the neighbors were not having it. They were trying to pay people to take them out in their boats. They were trying to pay people to, do this and do that. And they just refused to do it. They did not even want to help them. They didn't have enough money to offer to get the help that they wanted. So there are still good people in this world. And no matter what people think of Americans, they have had a pretty comfortable time in LA. They have had a very comfortable time in LA. Now, a lot of those paparazzis, that one particular one that is from the UK, the one that always heckles the Sussexes, that one's a monster. But when it comes to the US, it has not been terrible. And when they have been moving from place to place, people have kept their secret. People have not ratted them out. Have you noticed that? People have not ratted them out. They were able to go to different places, like Harry going to Las Vegas, totally a secret. Nobody ratted him out. There were people who obviously saw him at the hotel or whatever. There was no photos leaked or anything. Remember that. Remember that. Because they tried to imply that it was such a terrible mistake to go to LA. It wasn't a mistake. It was the best move they could have possibly made and probably have saved lives. So right there it says one day of shame. I'm sorry, one day of shame for BBC. Prince's devastating blast at Bashir's lurid and false claims that he says fueled Diana's fear and paranoia and drove his parents apart. William, BBC lies ruined my mother's life. And Harry says toxic culture led to her death. Harry did not blame the BBC. Harry blames the media in general. But the BBC, yeah, that was a terrible thing with Martin Bashir, but that was not something organized by the editors. That was Martin Bashir's action, not from directly from editorial department. The editors did not sit there and listen to a phone conversation like Piers Morgan did when he was editor, allegedly. But yeah, this is why I keep going back to this, because William was used as a sword against the BBC, because people still trust the BBC. People have more trust in the BBC than most of the other news agencies over there, meaning, of course, the tabloid news. And so why not take down the big guy, create an air of distrust with the BBC so that nobody will believe them in the future? And William was the useful idiot that went out there and gave that speech. Why don't you take on the other tabloids? I would say that, well, actually, I'm not going to call the BBC a tabloid, but why don't you take on the tabloids? Why don't you make this same speech about the people who played their role in your mother's death? Why not do that? But he's not going to do that. He's going to blame the BBC because somebody put a speech in his hand and said, now go out there and read that. And he did it. This was the stupidest thing that he ever could have done. And I mean, he's had some doozies, but this one is absolutely reckless and irresponsible. And then if you take a look here, BBC lies fueled my mother's paranoia. So the Times has the same thing. He gave the speech and all the papers picked it up. And I know this was a bonanza for the tabloids. Oh, they were happy, right? And then take a look there. Wills and Kate bin BBC. This is strike two. First one was to say that they made his mother paranoid and ruined his parents' marriage. Then the next one, they got rid of the BBC and they moved the Christmas Carol over to ITV. That's right, their rival, ITV. They switched Christmas concert special to ITV, Royal Fury, over biased Harry and Meghan documentary. So they were mad about the documentary. And of course, and if I'm trying to recall, was that a preemptive strike to move the Christmas Carol? Or was that a punishment after the fact? But either way, they had already put so much pressure on the BBC that the documentary that everybody's seen was not the documentary that was made. As a matter of fact, Omid Scobie's comment was actually, they showed him talking, and then all of a sudden, his voice faded out. They didn't want you to hear what he had to say. So that way they could leave it in, but still take it out at the same time. Right? This is not Williams doing. He's just stupid enough to do it, but this is not him. This is his tabloid media masters, if you will, that told him to do that. He don't have enough sense to think of something like this himself because he's too stupid. He's not that bright. I promise you, he's not that bright. They told him to go out there and give that speech so that he could create distrust for the BBC. We cannot have the BBC looking so credible. They want to lower the credibility of the BBC and hopefully raise their credibility by getting the BBC to look like they're just as bad as the rest of us. It's such an easy to recognize tactic, but a lot of people are not going to see it. It's hiding in plain sight. Get the useful idiot, give him the speech, have him go out there and make these accusations as though it encompasses all of the BBC. Martin Bashir has already admitted that he did it himself. He was the one that came up with the plan. It's not like he sat there with an editor. That was not something that the editors were privy to. They knew part of it, but they didn't know all of it. That was on Martin Bashir. But they will use Martin Bashir and the BBC to bring down the whole company. B. Martin says, go for it, Baron. Let it out. It's healthy. Thank you, B. Martin, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. And Raffaella Bertoni, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being here tonight. So, was I through with that? I think I'm almost done, you guys. Yeah, I think that was it. That was it. Just, again, I'm pointing out the way that they use William to try to tear down the BBC. I don't know if people bought it, but what? And don't forget, let's see, what's his name? Tom Bradby is on ITV, right? Tom Bradby. Remember, William said he was ending his relationship. He's a vindictive little. Oh, I almost called him not that P word, but a different P word, meaning an appendage. Yeah, he's a vindictive little appendage. Lord have mercy. I almost said it too. But he's a vindictive little digit appendage. So he says that he is ending his friendship with Tom Bradby because he asked Meghan how was she doing or how did she feel. That's why he said he wasn't talking to Tom Bradby anymore. He is anyway, I'm going to move on before I say something I don't mean to say. Let me see. We need to have a meeting because you got to say it. Well, just remember, it wasn't the P word that you're probably thinking. It was the other one. The one that helps gentlemen go to the bathroom. I had to catch myself. But he's so vindictive. All right. Okay, so listen, you all, I just pinned a link to the top of the chat. That is VS Speaks Royally. Not only has she been kind enough to help with the moderation on Royal Sussex, but she has a channel of her own. And again, when you want to start off your Sussex Squad day, she's usually the first of most of the people I know. She's usually the first one on. So while you're getting ready for work or on your lunch break or something like that, there is always VS Speaks Royally. Okay. All right, I'm done. So celebrating 50 years of independence, Grenada said, noblesse oblige, right? That is the word from Grenada. Noblesse oblige. As a matter of fact, right there, you can see wealthy British families should pay reparations for proceeds of slavery. Yes, absolutely. Reparations today, reparations now, and reparations forever. I sound just like George Wallace, don't I? Reparations today, reparations tomorrow, and reparations forever. Some of y'all are old enough to remember that one. Let's see. Caribbean country of Grenada urges others to follow examples set by former BBC journalists. Well, this lady right here, her family benefited from the transatlantic slave trade and, well, from the plantations in the Caribbean and the slave trade. And she has come out and said that reparations should be paid. So I don't have a subscription to the Telegraph, and I'm not going to go beyond their paywall to tell you what she meant. But yeah, she's agreeing that, yes, I have benefited. My family have benefited from the, and what she's referring to is this: reparations were paid, but just not to Black people. Reparations were paid to the plantation owners for loss of revenue when Britain ended the slave trade. When Britain ended slavery, they lost money, or at least they would have, but the government agreed to pay them reparations for their lost wages. And believe it or not, it wasn't until 2015 that the last of the reparations were paid. So for all those years, the British government was paying reparations to the white plantation owners, the families, the ancestors were still receiving that money, but the people that were that are the ancestors of the enslaved, they got nothing. They got absolutely nothing. So she's saying, give them something. And so noblesse oblige, that is, I think it's Latin, and it basically means that the rich man should pay. So the next time you go out to dinner with someone, let's say they just got their tax return and they put the check on the table, you just say, noblesse oblige. And that means, of course, the rich man should be the one to pay. You got the money, you pay the bill. So that is why I threw that in there. Oh, Callie Jen, you're quite welcome. And again, for Grenada, happy 50th birthday, 50 years of independence. And thank you for showing leadership where this reparation conversation is concerned. So, and with that, you guys, guess what? I am done. I am done. God, it feels good to get that out of my system. I was boiling today. Oh, that thing from James O'Brien. Let me see if I have that. I'll play it if I have it. You know, I switched computers, so it's a good chance that I don't have it here. But let's not give up, shall we? Well, let's see what we can do. Maybe this is it. Maybe. Let me see.
Knitting together Boris Johnson's despicable comments.
Nope, I don't think that's it. That's the scary one. Let me see.
The hosts of a neo-Nazi pod.
Nope, that one's not it either. Oh, I don't think I have it. Actually, I may. It is very interesting. So listen, you all, I am done. If you all want to take off, please do. I am done for today. I may or may not be able to find this last thing. Oh, there it is. There it is. So, okay. So let me do this. All right, I know what I need to do. Oh, wait, what is that labeled? Oh, let me try that. Huh. Okay. Got it. All right, so I know what I'm going to do. One thing at a time. So I am going to, How do they say it in that Cockney accent? Think it through, love. Yeah, think it through, love. Yes, I got to think it through. Think it through, love. Oh, man. Okay, so do that one. And while I'm doing that, bring up, oh. Hmm. Yes. Got it. I am just doing a whole lot of improvising right now, but I can do it. And I think you'll like it. So if you choose to hang around, do hang around. And then after that, as a matter of fact, this will be our last word of the day. How's that? This will be the last word of the day. That takes the pressure off of me. I said, don't worry about a thing. Every little thing gonna be all right. Don't worry. Thank you for saying that, Sharon Middleton. You just triggered a thing for me, and I will find it, and I will share it. God, I got so many videos. No wonder it's hard to find stuff. There we go. All right, we're in business. So I'm going to bring this up for just a little visual cue. But this was a little story told by Brother James O'Brien.
But most pertinently in the context of plants, how did that get to be here? And most obviously in the context of houses. I always think, and I know you do too now, of that wonderful story. I've got to stop telling it, but it tickles me so much. I told it to David Harewood in the podcast that was released yesterday, because he's had some experiences and he's been making a film absolutely on point for this issue. But when the woman who used to work in the National Trust, property, rang us, so we must have done this topic before, because we took that call. And the woman rang in and she was showing a school group around a stately home, and one of the lads said, "Excuse me, miss, where did all the money come from to buy this place, please?" It was like young Keith was on the tour of the... Was it you? Because it was a few years ago. Young Keith was there with his inquiring mind and his curious nature. He said, "Excuse me, miss, where did all the money come from to build this stately home, please?" And she was sort of conscious of, I don't know what you'd call it, political correctness, wokeness, before woke was a word in the context that it's currently deployed. So she started to, business and sugar and this very patrician voice behind her, sort of sotto voce, whispers in her ear, tell him it was the enslavement of Africans and state-sponsored piracy. And she said, "Well, I can't tell him that. They'll throw me out." And he said, "Well, they can't throw me out. I live here." And that just seems to me, you know how fond I am of the simple summary of a complicated issue. That sums it up, right? And the Earl of Harewood, David Harewood, was telling me, you can see the clue there in what his documentary's about, can't you? Has got all sorts of information on display about how colonialism and slavery created the fortune that his family pile is still built on. So is he woke? Is he, as the owner or the chatelaine or the inhabitant of Harewood House, revealing history of Harewood House that encompasses colonialism and slavery, is he indulging in preposterous posturing by people who are so out of touch with the sentiment of patriotic Britain? Katie's in Bristol. Katie, what's going on?
Okay. So there you have it. I love that story too. And, there you have it. A lot of those stately homes are actually created from the wealth from the slave trade. I did not make the connection. If you go to the antebellum South, you can still see some of those mansions that were built from the slave trade. You can see a lot of infrastructure that is related to the slave trade. Being a Yankee, I don't see so much of that in the North, but in the South, when you know where to look, you know where to look. Sometimes you don't have to know where to look. It will find you. So But in Britain, it's not so clear because there has been the aristocracy, the feudal system, the landed gentry, and all of that. So there's been other things like, the land rich families, but essentially the slave trade was like Silicon Valley. Everybody wanted in on it. So, and a lot of merchant class was created from the slave trade. And and they built these big stately homes and tried to woo someone with a title and a dowry to move in. It's an old story. So Sharon Middleton, thank you so much for that. You get a bell for triggering that story from Brother James O'Brien, that is. I was about to say Middleton. But yeah, again, thank you. And with that, you guys, I am done. Thank you all for being here. And is the Super Bowl over? Believe it or not, I'm about to run to the supermarket. Yeah, love you guys. I'll see you next time. And as always, we remember our queens, because our queens, whether it's Princess Diana, with all of the guidance and love and preparation that she gave Harry, or whether it's Ardoria, that at another time and another place was doing the exact same thing with our Duchess of Sussex. So I tell you, a mother's love, there's nothing else like it. All right. And with that, you all, I am going to say good night. Thank you, moderators, as usual, for keeping this a safe space. Remember, there is a link at the top of the chat for another Sussex-friendly space. So please do make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. As a matter of fact, support all of these Sussex-friendly spaces. We have built an incredible community and have provided a pushback like none other for the tabloid media. They're not used to being challenged, but they are. And yeah, you guys should be very proud of that, as well as the numerous fundraisers that we've had on the behalf of the Sussexes, and the way we look out for each other. And thank you also for your prayers and thoughts for Black Queen, who hopefully will be back soon. But if you have not signed the prayer card, there is a prayer card over on the community tab. Just look for a picture that looks just like this, and you will find thoughts and prayers and encouragement from other squaddies who want to send their love and encouragement to Black Queen, who is under the weather with bronchitis. Nothing to take lightly. Bronchitis can be very, very serious. So let me see, 142 comments on the prayer card. Thank you all so much for that. Yeah, 142 of y'all went over there. So thank you so much for that. All right, we're done. See you. And we're going to end with the Ginger Avenger. Good night to you too, Rodney Jackson. All right. Let me see. Really? That's cool. That is so cool. Thank you so much for that. Okay. All right. Good night. See you. And cue the Ginger Avenger. Well, let me see if it works this time.
What colour do you?
Nope. Okay, let me see. I was trying to play that Dan Marino.
Barry and the Wounded Warriors and walking and for a good cause, and just to see how excited they all are about what they're doing, and to get the, to see the response.
Well, okay, so that was it. It still doesn't want to play. That is so weird that it cuts off like that. But yeah, that was Dan Marino reflecting on the time that he spent with Harry. But well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. But let's see, where is Dan Marino? That is him back there next to Harry, the guy with the big hair next to Harry. See, he's got that full head of hair. Not the one on the to the left of Harry, but to the right, or Harry's left. But yeah, so again, this is all about how Harry has so many relations of sorts with people all over, working relationships, friendships, that he's known these people for years, and he made such an impact on them that they never forget him. And they love to tell people about that time. And these are very impressive people themselves. They love to say or tell people the story about that time that I met Prince Harry, that time that I spent with Prince Harry. That is just such a beautiful compliment for him. That speaks volumes of his character, that he has some of the most famous, some of the wealthiest, most successful, and then some of the unknown people that he has touched their lives. And I'm sure to this very day, they still talk about it. So wish I had one of those Harry stories of my own, but I don't. Well, not really. Yeah, actual relationships, not photo op relationships, but actual relationships. It's not like Willie where he rushes someplace to try to get a photo. Yeah, it's not based on a photo. There's usually a word because or some situation that necessitates those relationships. So there you go. Thank you. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.